Just gonna try and document quick before I work 512s. What's growing and what's not, and what's actually gotten smaller because the deer got in. That flower's finally putting on some new blooms. That one, I fertilized everything with some long-acting fertilizer, but some's doing good. Like that one's doing really good. Some not so good. That's a mini dahlia. The nasturtiums are blooming good. This dahlia is putting on some pretty blossoms, and then that nasturtium hasn't put on. The other one has a flower or two, but yeah, that one's not doing as good as the other ones. And then around here, my hydrangea are coming into color and bloom. This one's more shaded than the other ones, so maybe that's why it's not along as much. I'm trying to fill in more dirt around them. But yeah, those are finally coming in color-wise. And then if we come around here, my rhubarb is bounced back from where our naughty puppy smashed it. But we were about to get flowers on our lily, and that dang puppy ripped up a bunch of the plants. He's just so naughty. Let some of the fish out. Looks like they're spawning. So, and then I've gotten hardly any strawberries, but I think I'm going to move these strawberries to beds at the end of the year because they won't survive in containers. But I'm starting to get salad greens and beans. Just the strawberries are putting on tons of flowers, but I'm not really getting any fruit. So it's a random potato that's doing well. I've tomato caged up these plants because they're doing really well in these pots. This Amish paste just looks so stressed, and I've put extra fertilizer in there, and I'm treating it the same as all the other ones, and it's got leaf curl and just does not look happy to me. I need to get in here with some more tomato cages. But ultimately, these plants will be moving to the fence edge. My dill is sprouting up. My thyme, I think I've added a couple sprigs on the pizza one, but not much for growth. But that one, that's a Costoluto Genovese, one of my favorite ones. And that's doing pretty good. That's a Kellogg's breakfast, doing pretty good. I don't remember what that end one is. My cilantro is pretty much bolted. I got to chop that down. And I did weed around my onions some, but I really got to put fabric down. And that's the first sign. We had deer in here, and they nipped all the buds off of that raspberry sprouting. My oregano. And getting some little Fresno peppers. I'm confused because these ones are growing up and those ones look like they're growing down on that Fresno pepper, but then those ones look like they're growing up on that Fresno pepper. The other tomatoes. This one has just not done well and continued to struggle and continued to look worse. Whatever's wrong with it, I think I'm going to just end up taking it out. I've got plenty of other ones, considering I'm the only one that eats fresh tomatoes. Now here was my mistake. I had old seeds I was trying to use up. Well, I don't really count it a mistake. I'm just going to have to thin, but I threw whole packs in because I had seeds that some were like 3, 4, 5 years old. Those ones are finally sprouting on that one. But that one had so much germination. Now I've got a pile of them and I'm going to have to snip some of them. Same thing with those pumpkins. A couple out of that one. I haven't even had any sprout on that one though, but I can start seeing some green peeking through there. The same thing with this one. There's just a couple peeking through, so. But here, my peppers sustained some deer damage. That plant got nipped off completely, and those ones got nipped off. Those ones got nipped off. My carrot bread is sprouting, but like I said, I didn't put fluffy soil in here, so I don't know if they're going to grow well. And this bed is just doing terrible. On my days off, I really need to focus on weeding, putting down some craft paper and some mulch over the top, because that's my lemon basil, and they're just not doing very well. I know those are zinnias and those are zinnias, but I think those are weeds. Those look like zinnias. Down here, I think back there is some zinnias, but I'm pretty sure these are all weeds right in here. So, actually those might be zinnias right there, sprouting. So, I need to get in here and weed this, and this is the other batch of my grandmother's 70-year-old. They are at least 65 plus years old, for sure, crowns. So I did half of them this year and split it up. I gotta put more mulch. I gotta mulch it better after they die down in the winter. And then these were some old corn seeds mixed in with new corn seeds. I don't know if I'll even get corn, but I wanted to use the space and try and use up those seeds. And I do have some peeking through, but I doubt they'll be knee-high by the 4th of July. I don't know, we'll see. It's been too cold, so I doubt it. So, and these are the 5-week-old onions I got in hopes that I will actually get onion bulbs. I'm not sure. And this is a dahlia I got, but I didn't get any red dahlias. I got just like purples and pinks and peaches and oranges. So, I mean, you can't be mad about dahlias either way, but yeah. Wasn't supposed to be a red, but oh well. And then this little melon has grown a little bit, but the deer got a hold of that watermelon and nipped off some of the leaves, and I think this one's an acorn squash, and I've got an eggplant in the middle. But I'm starting to get sprouts on these melon buckets, so we'll see how those grow. I've got green in almost every bucket now. That's one little one in there. Maybe like 2 of them don't have any green. But the deer really mutilated my red Marconi, my giant Marconi peppers, as you can see. So I did that. I had to thin these squash out, but just proof, I bought these starts here, this start, and I was so careful with it. And I don't know how much further along it is, but then I started these seeds and look at how much bigger they are than these ones that I transplanted. So squash plants just don't, I have not perfected pre-starting and transferring squash plants and watermelon plants and things where they do well. I have such a short season, so I wish I could, but as you can see how well those ones are doing compared to the transplanted ones. Those are also started ones. My potatoes are doing fabulous. They're starting to get flowers. My replant for like the third time on Kajari melons is sprouted in excess, but we'll see which ones grow well. The deer mowed down my peas pretty bad and broke one of my cabbage plants, and yeah, so we had to raise the fence up 10 feet. But I replanted some peas, so hopefully they mowed down my borage plants to nothing. That dahlia was like, I don't know how tall, but they mowed that down. They mowed that dahlia down there at the end. I think they nibbled that blueberry, or it might have been just that small, but they just ate the borage, the blue and the white, just down to nothing. But my calendula, for the first time, I'm going to try and save seeds, because you see how those calendula look. And then I have these two plants here that are like double blooms or something. They are so fluffy and big for calendula. I mean, just look at that. That one there too. These two plants are just gorgeous. So for the first time, I'm going to try and save seeds when those heads dry up, because these are just the most beautiful calendula. And that flowers a few days, you know, past its prime. They close up at night and then start opening up during the day. And they are just, that plant, the blooms are just so full and fluffy compared to the other ones. I mean, even when you look at these yellow ones, they are not as full and fluffy. They're beautiful, but oh, that plant is just gorgeous. So down here I have my mix of cabbage, broccolis, and cauliflowers. That's the one that the deer broke off. And then I planted some pumpkins down here that I think they're getting too much shade. That one's doing okay. And here I planted some melons that did not sprout, so I've replanted with some zucchini rampicante. But the melons I planted on this side finally sprouted. So, and the deer got my beans a little bit, but not too bad, and the potatoes on that side. The leeks are growing. The radishes have really come in. So, and I think that's rutabaga growing. I'm not sure. I just kind of sprinkled seeds trying to use them up, but wow, did they really get my peppers. Oh. And then these baby eggplants, they aren't exactly jumping up in all of the cold and wet we've had. So, and then I got to get dirt to cover these, but I got more potatoes, and I'll probably plant another squash type to vine. And I replanted peas along the edge of this in case those other peas don't do well, and that's more potatoes. I've got 2 beds that I'm going to try and get. It might be too late, but I'm going to try and get some pinto beans in these 2 beds this week. We'll see. And then this is my established asparagus bed. And then this is the brand new asparagus bed that I still have to top off a little bit more. But that's brand new bed of asparagus for this year. Yeah. So it's been, I wanted rain because it was so dry, but now it's been cold and wet. and so things are not growing super fast, but they're still growing.